Hi, today I want to just do a little kind of philosophical exploration about the idea of organized religion and a belief in reincarnation or lack of belief in reincarnation. And the issue for me is if you have spirituality, if you have a person who believes that there is such a thing as spirit that leaves the body at death and that continues some form of existence, then you either have a belief in reincarnation or not, right? So if you are of one of the monotheistic religions, and you believe that you live, and when you die, you are judged by God, and you either go to heaven or hell. But there is no do-over, there is no other lifetime, then you are judged for eternity based on whatever, 0 to basically 100 and something maximum years of performance. And, you either get it right or you get it wrong, and then you have an eternity of consequences for that. So there's not really a big learning process. It's basically a test, and you don't really come into the test with any experience, knowledge, or any of that. In, like, for example, Christianity, you're born as a pure soul, and either you follow the rules and go to heaven, or you don't follow the rules and you go to hell and you get everlasting punishment. So my argument would be that kind of philosophy, if you do believe in some form of life after death of the consciousness, you believe in a soul, that's a pretty cruel philosophy, right? There's no learning, there's no evolving, there's no kind of chance to do it over. Without reincarnation, it's a pretty messed up system, it would seem to me. Interestingly enough, many years ago, probably around 20 years ago or something, when I was in the early stages of my healing career, I had a client who was a Hasidic Jew. And not only Hasidic, he was Satmar. And apparently among the Hasidic Jews, Satmar is like up there in terms of how serious they are about it. And he told me something that was really interesting to me. And he said that, in his view at least, to any Orthodox Jew, reincarnation is a given. So the Hasidics are they're more spiritual when you compare to other Jews. They're more about kind of the Spirit of the Lord energy, dancing, singing. They're very strict about the religion, but it was very interesting to me that they had preserved the idea of reincarnation far more. Like, I grew up Jewish since the age of 11. That's a long story. But, nobody talked about reincarnation as a given in Reform Judaism. I think they looked at it kind of like Christians. Although the Jews are a little more hazy on what happens after you die than the Christians. But so now, if we have a belief system that there is a spirit that survives the physical lifetime and then reincarnates, it just seems to me to be a much more humane system. Let's say even if in the end there was some judgment day and either you go to heaven or hell, it would seem far more fair to have it be where you had, like, let's say you had 100 lifetimes and then you kind of took an average, or best of, we count your best and, we knock off the 5 worst, whatever, right? You could have a system where through reincarnation, you learn lessons and then you get judged. Now, most people who believe in reincarnation don't think that there's some final judgment day of that kind. But I'm just saying, even if we allowed for a final judgment day of that kind, wouldn't it be a more humane thing if we had multiple chances to redeem ourselves, to die, to go into the afterlife, to learn lessons, and then to choose a life that will challenge us to see if we've learned the lessons? Like if the lesson would be turn the other cheek, then, you might have to reincarnate as somebody who's bullied, who keeps turning the other cheek and never gets revenge, and that's what you're supposed to do. If the lesson is stand up for yourself, you might have the same kind of lifetime of being bullied, but you have to confront the bully. So, you'd choose a lifetime where that kind of thing would happen so that you would get a chance to have your lesson, to show off, to show that you have learned your lesson, and so you can proceed to the next level of the game. So anyway, it's just interesting that some religions, most religions it seems, at least Western religions, they don't allow for reincarnation. And so if we think of it kind of strategically, I'm a Scorpio, so I think of things strategically, what's in it for the religion to not allow reincarnation? And what would be a bad thing for the religion if they did allow reincarnation? So let's take the most obvious culprit here, Christianity. So in Christianity, where there's going to be a judgment day and you might go to hell, or when you die, you're judged one way or other and you go to hell or heaven. Well, that's a real incentive to obey the rules of the church right now. And because you realize you have no choice, you have no ability to come back and do better next time. This is it. So if you mess up, you go to hell for eternity. So you better not mess up, right? So then it becomes, do what I tell you to do. You might not understand it, but I might not have enough time to explain it all to you, but, we're trying to make you not go to hell. It's kind of like if you're in some emergency situation and you're telling somebody, open the door, because you got to get away from the fire, whatever the hell, right? And they're like, why? Why should I? Hey, I don't have time to explain why to open the door right now. It's a fire, it's a flood, it's a shipwreck, whatever. Open the door. Okay? There is no time for explanation. So, okay. So, kind of like Christianity saying, here are the rules. If you break them, you go to hell. You know, that's just what it is. You don't get a do-over. You don't get a second chance. It doesn't matter if you were raised in an abusive household where you endured all kinds of horrific abuse at the hands of parents, teachers, priests, whatever. You still have to not break these rules, or you will go to hell and be tortured forever. Nice system, huh? In the system, more like what I believe, and when I say I believe, I don't believe religiously. I believe based on the fact that I've done around 2,000 past life regressions, and 2,000 people have told me very similar stories. And so I kind of think that's evidence. That's what I have to go by. And so in this system, it's like, this is all kind of a simulation anyway. It's not real like the afterlife. Like the afterlife is more real than this, although this is pretty convincing at the moment. And you have certain challenges in your life, and you keep coming back until you get it. And it's the big punishment is that when you die, you have a life review, which everybody says is not a punishment. That the only punishment is you punishing yourself for how bad you messed up and saying, man, I did it again, you know. And then you realizing that's where I am on an evolutionary level, so obviously I got to go back and fix some things. And then you do. And then you keep doing that. And it's not necessarily about some judgment day in the end. It's about that you are part of the oneness, God, whatever you want to call it, the universe, the multiverse, pick your word, and that the whole thing, God, the universe, multiverse, oneness, is constantly evolving, and this is part of the evolution. And so you learning your lesson benefits the whole thing. And in the end, the separate entity you is a construct anyway, because it's all one. But certain things can't happen unless the one splits into the many and forgets where it came from, and right, on and on. So anyway, I was just pondering this whole thing as I watched some TV show last night that I don't even remember what the hell sparked this. But anyway, so the idea of reincarnation, number one, it used to be kind of self-evident. And there are things in the Bible, for example, that point to kind of an assumption of reincarnation as just a fact. There are things, and I'm no Bible scholar, and I don't believe that the Bible has much more than just being a historical storybook. So I don't care really what it says on a certain level, but it does reflect that people believed in reincarnation. It mentions people like, oh, he was so-and-so before. Now he's this guy, you know. You biblical scholars can agree or disagree, and fine either way. But anyway, I think the idea of spirituality meaning that there is a spirit, a separate entity that can detach from the physical body. Spirituality without reincarnation ends up in a really cruel system of control that really benefits a religion that wants to control your life. And that the idea of spirituality with reincarnation is far more humane because it gives you a chance to learn your lessons over time and get better. And it seems to me that a Christianity, a Judaism, whatever, that would bring reincarnation into the belief system, which at least for Christianity and Judaism shouldn't be that big of a stretch, actually, would actually enhance the spirituality aspect of the religion. What do you think? Let me know. Thank you. And if you'd like to check out the work that I do in hypnosis, astrology, space clearing, life coaching, all that kind of stuff. Basically, what it's about is aligning you with your authenticity, clearing out all the stuff that's not you, and strategizing a new way forward in love, career, creativity, and all the aspects of your life. That's what I'm into. AndySway.com. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a weekend. And if you're here on the West Coast, enjoy the impending hurricane. Could be a once-in-a-lifetime thing or the beginning of a new era of global warming. We shall see. Thank you. Bye.